Welcome to the Stop Overdrinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving working moms come to learn how to stop overdrinking, reduce overwhelm and anxiety, and show up like the players they were meant to be. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik, and let's dig in. Welcome to episode 51. What is life coaching to stop overdrinking and how you can work with me in 2020? Hello, what's up? It's almost Christmas, you guys. One more week. Woohoo! I am all ready. We got the presents wrapped. We have plans for Christmas Eve. I just made reservations at this nice Italian restaurant for my family, just the 5 of us. And we've got the whole Christmas Eve thing worked out. We're going to have a nice early dinner, and then we're going to go see if we can't spot Santa at the mall still and drive around and see some Christmas lights. And then we're going to come home and have hot chocolate and probably watch a Christmas movie and set cookies out for Santa and all the fun stuff. So I'm excited. I feel very prepared this year. The fact that we have the Christmas presents wrapped and hidden and our plans for Christmas Eve a week before, I'm like, wow, this is going to be easy. So I'm excited about it. And so is my husband. So that's what we're doing for Christmas Eve. And then we're just going to hang out on Christmas Day and let the kids enjoy their presents and probably make a big brunch or something. Maybe we'll go on a little Christmas hike to get out of the house for a little bit. But that's it. It's going to be super nice and cozy this year. No traveling, no hosting parties or anything like that. I'm very excited about it. So last weekend was my husband and I's 11th wedding anniversary, and my in-laws took the kids for the weekend. So we got to get a little head start on some of the holiday stuff. That's when we got to wrap the presents. We went out for lunch. We went and saw a movie. It was so nice to be in our own home without being interrupted by 3 little kids asking and fighting and all the craziness. So we really enjoyed ourselves. Also, last week I announced to my email list, whoever signed up for it, how you can work with me in 2020. So this week's podcast is a little recap of that. I'm going to get into this week about what exactly is life coaching to stop overdrinking. And I'm going to go over some of the benefits of that and what are the things that we work on with life coaching to specifically solve the overdrinking issues. And then I'm going to tell you guys today on the podcast all the details of my new program for 2020. So, and then what you can do if you want to work with me and the next steps you can take. So you guys ready? This is going to be a little bit of a longer podcast. It probably will go about 30 minutes. So have your notebooks out. Be ready to go. I'm going to tell you how you can work with me at the end, and you have to apply, which is super fun. And we're going to jump in here. So just to recap, if you guys are just now listening to the podcast for the first time, I am a certified life and weight loss coach. I was certified through the Life Coach School, and I'm the host and the creator of this podcast. It's on year 2 now of the Stop Overdrinking and Start Living podcast, and I've officially coached now over 200 women to stop overdrinking and to create more in their lives. I've got 3 amazing kids, Ayla, Alec, and Arlo. My husband's name is Peter. We've been married for 11 years, and we're very busy, socially busy. My husband travels a lot for work. I do a lot of traveling. I have a lot of moving parts in our lives. And for many, many years, most of my adult life, for I think 20 years, I used to overdrink and overeat. And I had been on every single diet that you can think of, from Atkins to South Beach to Weight Watchers to MetaFast to Shakeology to anything, right? South Beach. It just was a never-ending saga of what diet I was on. I tried being a vegan. I did smoothies. I did raw juices. I mean, it was everything that you've probably ever heard of. I've tried to lose weight, and it would always creep back. And basically the underlying story of it all was that I was a heavy drinker and would also overeat when I overdrank. And then I would be good for, the weekdays, and then the weekends would come and I would sort of binge on all the things. So I had that cycle with my whole life with food and alcohol. And finally, about 3 years ago, I decided enough was enough. And I hired a life coach to specifically help me in those areas. And it worked. I permanently overcame my own over drinking and overeating issues, and I lost 50 pounds. I stopped over drinking, and now I don't drink at all, which was not my original goal, but now I don't drink. It's been almost 2 years since I've drank, and my life is completely different, all through life coaching. And now, because of that work was so compelling to me, I decided to become a life coach. And since then, I've extensively studied how our brain works and why we are conditioned to overdrink and overeat. And if you've been following along in the podcast, I get into very detailed examples of this, about how we take action based on how we're feeling and how our thoughts play into that, right? And like I mentioned earlier, I've now coached over 200 women, and I have a lot of data about our biggest issues that lead us to overdrink and to overeat. And so my personal coaching programs, my private coaching programs that I've developed in the past have addressed the very high level issues that most of us struggle with. And now in my new program, starting in January of 2020, it's even more extensive than that. It's very comprehensive program that looks at all the big areas that lead us to overdrink and to overeat. So for today's podcast, I'm going to get into specifically life coaching for overdrinking, and if that makes sense for you, and how to kind of tell the difference. All right. And then I'm going to recap, and I know I've mentioned this before, but why it's hard for you to make changes on your own. And I'm going to also talk about what I teach and how I coach. And then I'm going to tell you all the details of the program. So I want you guys to stick around for the whole podcast, all the way till the end. There's going to be a big discount for a few spots that I have left for my coaching program starting on January 1st. So if you're interested in that, stick around to see how you can still take advantage of that. What I will say is that this is not a recovery program. Okay, so if you need alcohol to function or to get through the day, this is not the program for you. Life coaching can help you if you've been through a recovery program and you're sober and you want to work on your mindset and learning how to feel so you don't go back to drinking, for sure. But if you're just starting out and you need medical supervision to cut back on your drinking, or you feel like you need alcohol to get through the day, starting this work now probably isn't going to be the best option for you. There's an application process that you have to fill out to get into my coaching program, so I'll definitely be able to help you determine if this is good for you or not. But I just wanted to preface before I get into what the program is or how I teach and coach that this is not a recovery program. If you feel like you need medical supervision, please seek other treatment programs where there's doctors and psychiatrists on board to help you with that. And then if you feel like you might have withdrawals, from alcohol, this is probably not the right program for you. But what is life coaching for overdrinking? So if you want to stop overdrinking and start doing more of what you love, such as exercising or spending time with your kids, you want to read more books, you want to start working out, you might want to get a promotion at your job, right? You might want to get your life organized. This is a really good option for you. So not only do we help you stop overdrinking, I'm going to help you start doing more of the things that you actually want to be doing. And we do that by looking at those opportunities in your life. We create goals for them and execute those plans to achieve those goals within a certain amount of time. Also, life coaching for overdrinking helps you learn how to follow your commitment to yourself and stop the on again, off again cycle. So many of my clients, this is the biggest area where they say they're going to do something, they say they won't drink or they won't eat all the food, and they don't honor their commitments to themselves. So that is like where the biggest part of the work comes in, is learning and training yourself that when you say you're going to do something, you actually do it, and you don't just go on and off and keep going back and through these auto repeat cycles over and over again. I also teach you how to coach yourself to solve any problems. So once the over drinking thing is out of the way, then we, again, like I said, we get to work on some of those other areas in your life that you want to improve. Also, the women that I coach share the same struggles with overdrinking. We all share the same struggles. We're not alone. We have 5,000 downloads to this podcast a month. You guys resonate with what I say because we share common struggles, right? Again, that not honoring our commitment that we made to ourselves, not understanding which emotions that are driving our actions, such as eating or drinking. Some relationships that might trigger us to drink. A lot of us have complicated relationships in our past, or with our parents or in-laws, or even our spouses or partners or our kids, that cause frustration and hurt that we might drink from that feeling. A lot of us have work and family stress. most of us beat ourselves up when we don't follow our plan. So there's a lot of like self-loathing and being hard on ourselves when we don't do what we say we're going to do. A lot of shame and regret that we tend to drink to sort of feel better from. And then a lot of my clients have pasts that include tragedy or trauma, and they started drinking to relieve themselves in the moment to feel better, and then it's turned into a more of a long-term habit. So knowing that all of us share the same struggles with this, it makes us feel like we're not alone. And with my new program, it is a group coaching program. So when you are in a small group of women that share these very similar struggles, you don't feel alone and that you're not broken. There's really nothing wrong with you. And then you start to heal, and we start, like accepting where we are and knowing that there's nothing wrong with us, and then we don't need to escape or drink from that place. I can tell you that there's nothing wrong with you and that you're totally normal in one-on-one private sessions, but I've already been through this transformation, right? Like I am way past where most of my clients are starting. And I think the group coaching dynamic allows you to see that there's nothing wrong with you, right? And that you see other women besides me, who I've already solved the problem, sharing the exact same struggles that you are. And when you see your problem in somebody else, it really does become eye-opening. You're like, holy shit, I'm doing that too. I just can't see it because it's my own problem. But when you see somebody else get coached for a very similar situation that you are experiencing or having the same thoughts, it can be very transformative, just as powerful as you getting coached yourself. And then again, you see that you're a normal, functional human being and you're accepting yourself, love and loving yourself more. And you don't want to escape when you feel that way about yourself. I want to touch into the reasons why we're over drinking in the first place. So again, as a reminder, we're over drinking because we're seeking to feel an emotion that we currently don't feel in the moment we want to drink. I'm going to repeat that again. We overdrink because we're seeking to feel an emotion we currently don't feel in the moment we want to drink, right? So we're looking to feel relaxed. We're looking to feel unwind. We're wanting to de-stress. We want to take the edge off of the anxiety, right? To feel joy, to feel celebratory. So if you think about when you want to drink, it's like, I want to relax now. I just need to take a break. Or I just want to take the edge off this anxiety. Or I want to celebrate that big win at work, right? That you're seeking an emotion that you currently don't feel in the moment, and then you drink, and unconsciously you believe that alcohol is the answer to feeling something we currently don't feel. So if you tell me that you don't drink emotionally, you're wrong. We all do. Everything we do as humans, drinking, eating, calling people on the phone, shopping, going from one room to the next in our house, putting clothes on, it's driven by how we are feeling, okay? Why is it so hard to cut back? It's hard to cut back on this pattern because we don't know how to handle that incessant over desire that we have, and we give into it, right? So like we say we're going to cut back during the week, and then we find it very challenging and it's hard. We're white knuckling through that, and it's very uncomfortable, and we don't know how to handle or be with that uncomfortableness. So we give in and we drink, and then we just make that neural pathway stronger and stronger in our brain, and we increase that desire more over time. There's also a lot of stigmas around not drinking or labeling ourselves, right? That we have an issue or a problem, there's something wrong with us, and we don't like doing that, and then then asking for help in a public way, so we don't get the help that we want, and we continue sort of suffering along in our own issues and our own problems, and we don't get the help we need. Also, just saying we won't drink or putting ourselves on a drink diet or abstaining doesn't work to create permanent change because we haven't solve the underlying issues of why you're over drinking in the first place. So what I teach and coach my clients I teach you how to feel all of your feelings, and that our feelings aren't something that need to be diminished or fixed, right? We're supposed to feel and process our emotions. We're not supposed to numb them with alcohol or food or shopping or Netflix or gaming, right? We're supposed to feel. We're human beings. We have emotions for a reason. And if you learn how to use your emotions to your benefit intentionally and not run away from them or avoid them, then that's when everything changes. Then you lose the need for alcohol. Okay. I also teach you how your thoughts create your feelings and how you are always 100% in control no matter what the situation is. I also help you how to identify which repetitive thoughts are creating results in your life that you no longer want. So, such as being an overdrinker, right? So if you don't want to be an overdrinker, we back that up and look at how we're thinking, which is causing you to be somebody that overdrinks. I also coach you how to change your thoughts to get better results in your life, right? So the first step is identifying which thoughts are creating your current results, and then you get coached to how you can think about it differently so you can get a better result. I also help you look at all the areas of your life in a way that feels good so that you don't need to escape from your life. So if you are constantly saying, my job is stressful, or my kids cause me anxiety, or blah, 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 right? Some reason why you feel the way you do, and you have this negative connotation to the different areas in your life, I first identify what are those thoughts, and then coach you to think about it differently so that you feel better about your life so that you don't need to escape from it with alcohol. All right. And when you change the way you think and you learn how to feel and make permanent changes, that's when you make those permanent changes with alcohol. So the benefits of life coaching specifically to solve the overdrinking are, again, learning how to feel any emotion will eliminate that need for alcohol. And when you don't want alcohol and you don't need it, it's easy to not be somebody that overdrinks. Also, learning how to manage your mind to change your relationship with alcohol is a skill set, right? You'll have forever, and you can apply to any area of your life. So if you've been following along for a while, you know that I teach I teach this, but it's also just the truth of being a human. Our thoughts create our feelings, and human beings take action based on how they're feeling or don't want to feel. And then those actions create the results in our life. Okay, so there's a model. It's called the model. And learning how to manage your mind using that model around your relationship with alcohol, you can use that same model to change anything in your life, right? To have more in your life that you currently don't have, doing things that you keep saying that you want to do and you haven't done them yet, right? Also, removing that distraction that overdrinking creates in our life. So life coaching helps you see that helps you really become conscious of how much you're thinking about alcohol, right? So you're thinking about it on the way home from work. You're thinking about it while you're drinking. And then if you overdrink, you think about how much, that sucked and how you can't stick to your plans and you're beating yourself up. So if you look at all the times you spend thinking about drinking or not drinking, it's a huge distraction. We could be using our brain in so much better ways, right? We could think about writing that book or, training for a 5K or, doing more fun things with our kids or our husbands or our spouses, whatever, right? There's so many other things we can use that brain and that thought energy for that will actually add to our lives versus keeping us stuck. Life coaching also helps you be comfortable where you are, who you are in social situations without needing alcohol or food to make yourself feel better. You're going to learn how to feel and generate more confidence in your life, more freedom, more joy, and more connection to your loved one. You're not going to be stressing about how much you will drink or if you will drink. You just don't have to worry about it. I just love that freedom is going to a party and I don't think about getting my favorite wine anymore or asking what kind of cocktails they have and if I need to stop at the store and planning and then who's going to drive home and that conversation that you have to have with your spouse. Well, if I'll drink this many and then I'll drive or we'll get an Uber, all of that drama, right? I just don't have to worry about that anymore because I don't overdrink. I never have to think about it. It's just I got my back no matter what. I go to the party and have fun at the party or whatever it is. I'm okay with that situation without worrying about drinking or not drinking. Also, life coaching helps you remove that regret and shame and guilt when you do overdrink. So teaching you how to not beat yourself up and just be more curious to evaluate what happened versus beating yourself up about what you didn't do or what you shouldn't have done, which never helps. And then again, seeing that you're normal and it just helps you feel better about yourself and so that you're less likely to escape. And for me, I wanted to not want it. When I first started this or, was considering hiring the life coach for me to, finally tackle this issue, it's just, I kept thinking I wanted to not think about it so much. I wanted to not want it. I wish I could take a pill and that would be all erased for me. Well, if it was that easy, we'd all be taking those pills, right? And it's not that easy. It's not supposed to be that easy. Permanent changes and making big shifts in your life is not supposed to be easy. Okay, easy is staying where we are right now. Easy is doing the same things over and over again. So you have to give up the idea that it's supposed to be easy or it should be easier and all of that stuff, right? It's supposed to take some work. It's supposed to take some commitment. It's going to be uncomfortable at times, right? But I was willing to go through that for what I knew was possible, for that desire to go away, for that freedom that I was just describing, for me not to think about it all the time. It's like I was willing to be uncomfortable and do some dig deep into my brain and figure out what I was thinking and what emotions I wasn't willing to feel for me to get to the other side. All right. So for me, no desire now is I can go out with my friends. I can go on vacation. I can go on dates with my husband without thinking about alcohol. It's not designed around alcohol. We're thinking about alternative things to do besides where the trendiest bar is, or who has the best cocktail, or, what rosé is on special today, or if it's half off bottle wine nights, right? Like my brain is open to bigger and better, more creative ideas with what I'm doing. And even if it is something like we're going out for dinner with the holidays, or there's a party that we go to, we just go to the party and we look forward to seeing the people. And I don't think about, oh my gosh, am I only going to have 2 drinks, or, am I going to feel uncomfortable, or so-and-so going to be there? Like, I just don't, my brain just literally doesn't go there anymore. And it's amazing to think about something other than drinking. So I want you guys to picture that. Like, what is it that you think that would be different for you if you weren't over drinking, if you weren't thinking about it so much? What does your life look like? What do you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet? Like, really take a moment. If you want to pause the podcast and ask yourself that, and even write it down. What are you doing if you don't overdrink? What would you rather be doing? How are you feeling? How do you wake up in the morning? What do you do as soon as your eyes wake up and you start a new day? Like, really picture that and write that vision out for yourself. Right? Does it look like you wake up in the morning and you are excited to start the day, and you wake up a little bit earlier? Maybe if you have kids, before the kids, you have your coffee, you might meditate, you might go to the gym, you might plan out your week, think about what the rest of the day, set your intentions and your goals and what are the things you want to accomplish that day. And then you get the kids ready, or you get dressed and you go into the office, or, whatever you normally do during the day, but it's like kind of fueled by this excitement and this energy, and you are willing to take on more projects or do more things because you feel good and like you feel like you got this, and of course you can take it on and you want to do more things, right? And then maybe you go to the gym after work, or you come home and you make a nice dinner, and you might read, or you might play a game with your kids, or you might organize a closet at the end of the day, right? Like, you start tackling some of the things that you hadn't been willing to do before. Maybe you go for a walk outside with your pets. Maybe you go see a movie. Maybe you go see your friends. Maybe you start a class. You take like a painting class or a dance class or something in the evenings, right? Think about what you would like to do and the times that you might have open to do that in your life, and visualize that for yourself and like paint that picture. Okay. And then believe that you can do it, right? Like, start thinking about what that would mean to you if you could actually live that life that you visualize. Can you guys see what is possible? And really believe that you can do that. Right? I've been able to do it. Hundreds of my clients have been able to do it. I'm not the only person that teaches over drinking, right? There's so many people that have changed their lives through mind and thought work and learning how to feel and to solve these issues. And you can be one of those people too. So I'm just going to read to you a couple things, or a couple comments that I've received about people that have worked with me, okay? So my client, Anne, she'd lost 15 pounds in 5 weeks. She's reduced her desire for alcohol. She honors her drink plans to only have 1 or 2 drinks once or 1 or 2 nights a week. And she wrote, I never thought in such a short time I wouldn't be agonizing each day whether to drink or not. Another client I had, Janet, in less than 6 weeks. She has lost 6 pounds. She hadn't had a drink in 30 days, and she isn't craving alcohol. She went from being like a half a bottle of wine to a full bottle of wine every night, and she took a 30-day break. And in a short amount of time, she noticed that alcohol wasn't consuming her thoughts. She's sleeping better. She's waking up feeling great every day. And she wrote to me, I did not think I could do this, and now I think there's nothing I can't do. There are no boundaries. I'm feeling limitless and in control and powerful. My other client, Kathy, in less than 5 weeks went from, again, a half a bottle a night wine drinker to a full bottle to less than a glass a week. She lost 10 pounds. She's feeling hopeful and healthy. And she wrote, I thought I would never be able to quit. I am more relaxed and more peaceful. I've reduced my medication for anxiety, and I don't need it to fall asleep. In 5 weeks, you guys. Like the results when you go in and you look at what your brain is telling you and you look at what feelings you're trying to avoid with alcohol and you expose all that and you get really conscious about it and aware, you can have amazing results in no time at all. All right. I want you guys to write this down. So if you're considering life coaching for over drinking, if you're considering joining me in my new program for 2020, I want you guys to really, first of all, visualize what is possible for you and know that you can have that if you want it. And then I also want you guys to write this down. This is something worth doing. I'm worth it. I want more in my life. This is not selfish. This is love. Like any amount of time or energy or money or focus that you put into your life is worth every single penny because you only have one. You only have one and you don't want to live it escaping what you're supposed to be feeling. You want to live it intentionally. You want to go after your dreams because everything else is just stagnation. It's just staying in that stuck auto-repeat cycle. And if you're listening to this right now, if you're curious about what it would be like, you know that you want more, right? If you were accepting where you were right now, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to me. You wouldn't be following along. You wouldn't be searching for things online to stop. Like you would just be happy with where you are and you wouldn't have any drama about it. But your thoughts are there for a reason. Your feelings are there for a reason. And it's telling you that you want to change, that you see more in your life, right? So you guys have to believe that this is worth doing for yourself. And if it wasn't, you wouldn't even be here in the first place. Okay. So why do you listen to this podcast? Why do you subscribe to my emails? Why are you, absorbing all this information? Because you're interested in what your life would be like if you didn't overdrink. You're interested in stopping overdrinking, right? You're interested in starting a new decade, maybe this new year, strong and being in control and finally tackling this issue. All right. So I want to invite you all to join me, or at least explore joining me starting January 21st for my new program. It's called Stop Overdrinking and Start Living. It's the name of the podcast. And it's a 6-month group coaching program. It's a very small group. Only a small number of women only will be invited to join me. And it's application only. And it's women who are all in and committed to changing their relationship with alcohol forever. And I will say that if you are worried about visibility or your name or, people knowing that you have this struggle, know that I've personally vetted all of the women that will be in this program. Also, you can remain anonymous if you absolutely insist, right? We'll be coaching on video, but you can turn your video off. You can put your name as under anonymous and nobody will know who you are. But also that everybody here is struggling with the same exact thing. So really there is no risk here. But if you absolutely, if you're in the media or you have a very public profile type position and you really don't want your name out there, you can be anonymous. So what this group coaching program looks like, you're going to learn how to stop over drinking through a combination of live coaching with me every week. You're going to watch others be coached on similar issues and learn from them and see your own problems in other people and have huge transformations that way. There's videos, there's workbooks, and I'm going to teach you through an interactive live process how to coach yourself. And again, you're going to have a community of like-minded women who all share the same struggles, so you don't feel isolated or alone ever. So each week, you're going to have at least 2 opportunities to get coached live by me. Also, there's going to be 2 additional calls per month to review basic coaching principles and the model in which I coach, the thoughts, feelings, actions, and strategies for success. So total, every month, there's going to be 10 calls. So 8 live coaching calls with me and then additional 2 calls where I'm more teaching you and applying some of the principles. And all of the calls are going to be recorded and uploaded to a members only website for you to watch those calls on the replays if you can't make it live. So if you worry about your schedule or that you can't attend the live coaching sessions, you can get just as much transformations by maybe attending 1 live call a month or 2 live calls a month or even just once a week. And then watching the replays, you can get amazing growth and transformations that way. How much you participate is completely up to you. Like I said, join as many live calls as you can or your schedule allows for, and then do all the videos and the self-guided work with the workbooks. Also, a monthly schedule is emailed out to you at the beginning of each month, so you'll have the full calendar and the times. And I want you not to worry about what time zone you're in or what times you're. I will cover all the time zones to make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity every month to jump on a live coaching call with me, at least once a month. And since it's going to be a small group coaching program and the different time zones of the women that are in there, it'll just all work out. It always does with these types of programs, that the people that need the coaching that week will usually get the help they want. If it's not specifically with their problem, they will see their problem in somebody else and be able to watch the replay. So with what comes with your membership to this program is every month you'll have access to new content. So month 1, you're going to have a theme for that month to work on. So in the first month, we're diving deep into emotions. You're going to have a workbook about that. You're going to do some thought work on emotions specifically for your situation. And then month 2, you'll have access to month 2's content, and then month 3. So it's sort of like a dripped out content. So you're not just given all of this material and then kind of like go pick out what you want. I'm going to be guiding you through content that has been developed with you in mind. So looking at all of the women I've coached and what is the most important work we can do from the very beginning to set you up for success from the very beginning, and then content that's strategically placed at certain time points throughout the 6 months that is there for a reason. So we look at your feelings first, and then your thoughts, and then a lot of times we start uncovering things we have about our relationships or our past, and it's all going to be developed into this program that it's the content will be trickled out according to what I see is our biggest issues in the time that it needs to be trickled out, if that makes sense. You're also going to get access to bonus trainings such as weight loss and how to manage our time, which will just be sort of like a video program with maybe a worksheet or two that you can do if you want to have extra resources that way. So all the details all wrapped up is you get 10 live coaching calls per month, which is a total of 60 calls total for the full 6 months. New monthly content. Each month you get a new workbook and a new set of videos. You're going to get bonus videos and worksheets on weight loss and time management. And then you're going to also get access to a private Facebook group for paying members only. All right, so that's sort of like the big overview of all the details of what you're going to get in the program. I will ask this, I have gotten some questions about this, so I want to address this. So when you are on the live coaching call with me, it is just you and me. So it just looks like you and I are talking. There will be other people on the call, but we can't see them or hear them. It's not going to be like, you're not going to be able to see the whole group. It's just going to be me and you. I'm going to coach you on your specific issue and provide guidance and coaching for you to take home and do some homework on for your specific issue. Okay, so it's not like I'm generally speaking to a class and it's like an overarching view or an overarching type coaching class. I'm still giving you private support, like individualized support, I should say, not private. And then usually what happens is the people watching like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed coaching on today. Or, oh my gosh, I think I have the same issue. And you take what I've given to you, or the audience, what I've given to that person, and you can use what I've coached them on and run with it in your own life. So I hope that answers any question you have, like, well, how am I going to get individualized support? I'm still giving you individualized private support. Individualized support with specific instructions about what you need to do in your work to solve that issue. But what you actually get by joining the program is not just coaching calls. It's not just videos or workbooks, right? What you're getting is the permanently to stop over drinking, okay? What you get is the freedom that comes when your mind isn't thinking about alcohol at night or the next morning or whether or not you should drink at the end of the day, right? What you're getting is the skill to process emotions and not respond to them. You're getting saving money on alcohol. You're getting saving money on Ubers or Lyfts, right? Missed opportunities at work or missed memories with your family and friends if you're over drinking. You're going to gain the ability to follow through on your commitment you made to yourself. And you're going to have the time to focus on what's really important in your life versus drinking. Okay, so that's what you're going to get. So the total investment for all of that is for the 6-month group coaching program, 60 calls, 6 months of content, continued support, learning how to feel, reducing how much you're drinking. The investment for that 6-month program is $3,600. And there's an application only process, and you have to put $1,000 refundable deposit to submit your application. All right. But I also am offering a big discount right now for people that sign up in December for the first 20 women who join. And I only have a few opportunities left to get this discount, but I'm giving a 25% discount if you're one of those first 20 women to join. So the discounted total would be $2,700. Again, application only with $1,000 refundable deposit to submit the application. I will say, get your application in, and I will tell you if you made it in time to get that 25% discount. Okay. And then you'll have 24 hours to finalize the process, to join the program, and to pay your balance, whether it's $1,700 or $2,600, depending on if you got the discount or not. Okay. Additional bonuses that I'm offering to, again, those first 20 women that join me is a daily journal. It's a beautiful daily journal that you'll use in this work, and a copy of my favorite book called A Happier Hour by Rebecca Weller. It's a story of her own struggles with alcohol and overcoming that and changing her life. It's a great, great book. And I recommend it to all of my private clients. I'm going to send you the journal, the Happy Hour book, and you'll get 25% off for the 6-month coaching program. So in the podcast notes, I'm going to put the link to apply for this program in there so you guys will have that. It's also on my Facebook page, I believe. If you want to email it, just say, send me the link to apply to the program. My email is angela@angelamascenik.com. But it's in the show notes, probably here on iTunes. It's definitely on my website under this podcast episode to apply for the program. But I want to sort of address what happens next and some common questions or objections I get about investing this kind of money to stop over drinking. And I know I've talked about this before in separate podcast issues, but I think it's important to address now. Okay, so I want to talk about the money first. And I know that this is a significant investment. I do not take that lightly or that commitment lightly, and neither should you. So before you consider joining, I want you to really think about the cost of the program and what you're going to get. So if you could buy this program in a box from Target, it's wrapped up with a pretty bow. It says 100% guaranteed you're going to stop over drinking and start doing more of the things that you love, and it's $3,600, money back guarantee. Would you buy that? And really think about your answer there, right? If you could solve this issue forever, is it worth $3,600? I'm just going to use that price right now because that's what most of the clients will pay, right? $3,600 to solve overdrinking forever. I want you guys to think about all the time you've been suffering with this problem. Most of my clients, it ranges between 5 and 20 years is how long they've been overdrinking and often overeating as well. Think about all the attempts that you've tried to stop and start and stop and start, or say you won't and go back and forth. How much money you've spent on alcohol over those 5 to 20 years, right? And if you think about the freedom that you'll have when this problem is solved and how much money you'll save on alcohol or food or all the different diets and shit programs that don't work, is it worth it to you? If you knew that this would go away, is it worth it to spend $3,600? And I say yes for me. When I was offered the same price point when I was getting ready to join a coaching program, it was the same price. And I thought, yes, it's worth it. Even if I don't make all the changes that I want to make, $3,600 is totally worth it to me. That's what I spent on 6 months or 8 months of wine. That's what I would spend on a week's vacation, right? With flights and hotels and food. To get a 6-month coaching program where I'm going to learn how to make permanent changes. I'm going to uncover some beliefs and thoughts about my life that aren't serving me and change. I'm going to be able to honor my commitment to myself. $3,600 is nothing compared to what you get. It is a no-brainer, y'all. Think about what you would spend $3,600 on other things, right? How much do you spend on an iPhone? How much do you spend on vacation? How much do you spend on your car? Like $3,600 to stop over drinking and to permanently solve this problem and change your brain is nothing compared to what you get on the other side of that, right? So I really want you to think about that in a different way. Instead of, if that price is just like, oh my God, I would never spend $3,600 for this. Why? Why are you not willing to spend $3,600 on this, but you might be willing to spend $3,600 on a year's worth of alcohol? Like, really challenge that, right? We have to start thinking about things differently if we want to make changes. I also want to talk about the time commitment and the length of the program. So the time commitment really per week is about maybe an hour. If you join one of the live coaching calls, 1 hour, one day, and then maybe 15 to 20 minutes in a daily practice of doing some of the work in the workbook and doing some daily journaling. Okay, that's it. Think about all the time that you spend thinking about not drinking, thinking about how much you drank the night before, if you'll drink. You just replace that time with a little bit of work, of like intentional work in that time, and you're going to make progress and you're going to get unstuck, right? Right now you're spending a lot of time thinking about it, but not actually doing anything. I also wanted you to talk about our spouses and our friends and the support that we may or may not need to do this work. And the idea that we need somebody to support us, or I could only do this if my husband was on board, or I could only do this if, I tell my friends and they can't drink, the way they normally drink around me. And I want you to challenge all of that. The only person that needs to support you is you. You are the only one that can do this. You've got to let go of what other people might think or how they may or may not support you, okay? Your husband or your spouse or your partner drinking and you trying to do this work are two totally different things, right? You've got to let them be them and do what they're going to do. If they don't want to sign up for this program, then you've got to let it go about what they are doing or not doing, okay? And then take that energy and focus it on you and your life. And when you do that, you become strong and capable and confident. And when you're out with your friends or your spouse or family members and they're drinking, you focus on you and you've got you, and it doesn't matter what they're doing or what situation you're in. You have enough confidence about your own abilities to honor your commitment that you made to yourself. Okay. When you're spending time thinking about what somebody else is doing or not doing, it distracts you from your own goals. So that's what I want to say about that. Like, yes, it's nice to have your spouse support you. Yes, it's nice for them to be on board and to be willing to help you and do all that. But you, at the end of the day, it comes down to what you do, what you're doing, how much you're drinking, right? Are you honoring your commitments or not? And nobody else can do that for you, no matter how supportive and loving they are. All right. I also want to challenge the idea that you need to think about it. I hear this a lot. I'm going to think about it. It's like, what do you need to think about? You've been thinking about making changes for months, maybe years, right? Stop thinking about it and actually do it. You don't need to think about it anymore. If you resonate with what I say, and how this program sounds and what I teach and my own transformation, and you think that it would be fun to work with me and you believe that I can help you, then do it. Figure it out, right? Think about spending money. Like, if you really, really want something, if like you really want a brand new car, if you really want that new house, or you really want to go on a Disney vacation, how you figure out the money to do those things, right? Figure out a way to pay for this. And if you can, and you go all in and you put that money down on yourself, you will do the work. Okay, you will show up, you will get coached, you will do the assignments that I have for you, and you will stop over drinking. It is that simple. Like, just decide that this is worth it for you and that you want to do it. And it's something worth this investment for, okay? And when you invest that kind of money into yourself, you get amazing results. You do the work, you show up, and you make it worthwhile, all right? And if you come to these coaching calls, you do the work in the monthly assignments, right? You get the support that you need. You will stop over drinking. Like, all of my clients that do the work and get coached, they stop over drinking. Like, it's really that simple. Show up, do the work, believe that you can do it, make the investment for yourself, and have amazing results on the other side of that. Imagine what the after picture that we talked about, your life without over drinking. That is all possible for you, but you just got to kind of get out of your own way and start challenging your own thoughts about spending the time or the money or having the support that you think that you need for it. All right. So again, the link to apply for that coaching program, I'm going to have in the show notes. You can just email me, Angela@AngelaMascenik.com for it. And what happens is you're going to apply, you're going to put the $1,000 deposit down. I will respond to your application within 24 hours. If you don't hear from me, please send me an email, Angela@AngelaMascenik.com, because there's probably some sort of technical issue and I didn't see your application come through. So just send me a note if you don't hear back from me. I will let you know if you got the discount or if it's the full price. And then you have 24 hours to pay the balance. And then we start work on January 1st. All right. If you have any questions about the program, please feel free to email me at that email address. I love you guys. I would love to have you in the program. You know if you are committed. You know if you're ready for this. And you want this, you've been thinking about it, maybe we've talked, maybe we've had a consultation before. Maybe you're like, I'm almost there. Pull the trigger. Commit to yourself. Commit to your life. You've only got one. All right, my friends, until next week. And if I don't hear or talk to you before then, before the holidays, have a lovely holiday and a happy new year. And I'll talk to you soon.